This is a pretty basic access file, a database that's going to help you track job applications, particularly if you're applying a lot at once. And so when you first open this, you might have like a bar that runs across the top here that's yellow, and it'll have a button that says Enable. And if you see that, just click the button. And so once you open it up, you're going to see this form here. And just for the record, if you want, if this is interesting to you and you want it, just right here under the video in the description, you can download this particular file. And so when you open it, you're going to see this form, and obviously it's going to be empty at first. There's not going to be any jobs when you download it. And so just click this Add New button. And when you do that the very first time, don't cancel out of it. Just go ahead and add a job. I can cancel out of it now because I've already got some jobs in here, but it just doesn't like it if you haven't already added a job. And so let's add just a random company here. Okay, so now we've got these are the three basic fields we have to fill out. Phone number is really good to have, obviously, but it's not. I didn't make it required. And I've got several options here, and we can change these. We'll see in a sec. So now we'll say confirm new job, and it's just telling us it added it, and we can scroll to it. And so notice now down here there were 2 records before, now there's 3, and so I can scroll to with these record selectors if I wanted to. I could also use this go to records option. Notice there's only 2 in here, even though we've got 3 now. So whenever you've added a new record and you want to get to it with this particular drop-down box here, just refresh your form with this button, and now you can see all 3 of them in here. And here's our new one. I can click on it and it'll switch to it for me. And so once we got it in here, we can come up here and change anything. Like if I realize I misspelled something, I can just change it here. And it's also going to automatically add an apply date for me. And it's going to add status need to call, which is just referring to your follow-up in kind of a really basic overview sense. Just kind of what's the status of the position. This one down here is more of what have I done to follow up? What are kind of my action steps to follow up on the position? And so you can see there's 6 steps here. And it starts with just initiate contact, and you can see what each one is. And I can click on this kind of timeline to move it along. And so if I click on number 3, it's going to change the step as well. And I can't go back on these, but if I wanted to override that, I can just click this drop down and it will let me go back. And if you're wondering what do each of these mean, just pick a number and click on it, and it'll give you a basic idea. And if you don't like these, you can always go to your status codes, or your follow-up table here, and it's got all of them in it. And I would not add or remove anything here, so I would keep the 6 steps. But if you want, you can change steps or step descriptions on any of them. And then if you wanted to edit these job categories here, obviously mine are all kind of business related, you can just go here and edit job categories, and it's going to open this table. And in this one, feel free to add as many or delete as many as you want, and to delete those, just highlight as many at a time and right click and hit that delete record button. And then this is my favorite part about this. Oh, before I talk about that, you can also change the way you sort records. And so if you watch here, if I switch to position, it'll highlight that one, apply date, whatever I want. And so my favorite part about this is this file path option here. And so you can see that this one's already enabled, so I'll go to one that's not. So this one's gray, it hasn't been created yet. And so I'll create a file path for this, and I'll just choose a file. And I like to keep all my job descriptions in Word documents kind of in one folder together here like this. And so I'll just come, I like to do this when I first apply to a job. I'll come straight in here after I've saved my job description, just highlight, copy paste from the internet or whatever. And I'll just pick the job description, double click on it, and it's going to give you your file path here, and just say OK, and it'll tell you it updated it. Say OK again. And so now you can see that folder has been enabled, where I can click on that button now. And so if I click on it, it's just going to go ahead and open up that job description for me. And so it's really nice because I don't have to, go all the way to all my subfolders to get to that particular description every time and scroll through and try to remember what I named it. I can just go straight into it. And then you've got these links on the side. They're pretty obvious what they are. The mail one, when you click on it, it'll just give you a generic email from your Outlook. And then we get this report. Click, overview report. You'll get every single job you've applied to. And notice this top one, the status is denied. Meaning that it was rejected. So if you've got one like that, if you come to this follow-up needed report here, you won't see that one. You'll just see the ones where there's still, there's still hope for a potential position. And so, well, if you schedule an interview, you won't see it there either, because obviously the process is complete at that point. So if you're in your status and you're scheduled or denied, it won't show up in the follow-up report. And then just one last thing, if you wanted to add some notes, a lot of times, like maybe you want to remember where it's located, so we'll just say like, oops, I can spell it wrong. So if it's in Seattle maybe, and we just want to remember that, if I put that in there and I scroll off to a different one and I come back to it, that's still going to be there. And so anything that you type in any of these particular input boxes, it's automatically going to save. You don't have to save any of this stuff. If I close this down now without saving and open it back up, it's all still going to be in there. So if anybody has any questions, just leave me a comment.